Alright guys, hello and welcome back to the channel. So today's a bit of a different video. I'm here with Laura.
Hello.
And yeah, so one thing you guys probably don't know is that I actually do see someone, which that is Laura. She's my life coach slash just mental health coach, everything who I confide in and chat to about problems and things that go on. So
So Mitch and I have been kind of on and off working together for a little while. And we have been, you can tell them what we've been working on.
Yeah, so obviously during the last, as you know, probably around roughly 70 days, you know that I've made some pretty drastic changes, and like Laura's been a huge part of that for me, with even just diagnosing what my, like, not so much problems, but what my triggers are and stuff like that, and why I get to the places that I do get to, and why I did the things that I did do.
Yeah,
so
where it was coming from.
She was really good in helping me do that. And yeah, well, recently we've been chatting a fair bit because, so for starters, I'm going to start off with just complete transparency. As you guys know, I was sober for, just over 60 days. And recently I went to LA, and unfortunately I took a step backwards there and got myself into a situation where I found myself drinking and everything like that. So that's what we're going to first start off by talking, because I've been chatting to Laura heaps about that and why I got to that position. So maybe do you want to start by talking about like the connection problem and where I found myself and traveling alone and stuff like that?
Yeah, absolutely. So what we found was really the main trigger for Mitch when it came to drinking and everything else was to do with connection. So most people, when they do find themselves either being addicted or they're overusing, for example, they're usually using it to fill up a part of themselves that feels like it's missing. So we in our lives, we're really always wanting to be connected as much as possible. When we feel like we lose that connection, or we're not able to open up to the people around us, or we're not feeling like we have those solid people around us, we'll find it anywhere we can. So for Mitch is a little bit different to each person has their own trigger points. So what triggers you will be different to what triggers another person. But for you in particular, it was when you were, you weren't necessarily opening up fully to a lot of people around you. I could be wrong in saying this, and please correct me if I'm off. So you were really struggling with connecting to the people around you and were kind of shying away. And then when you were out and all that kind of thing, your easiest way to find that connection and to really connect with the people around you was to kind of go a little bit out of hand. And you were always like that from young.
Yeah, exactly. So Laura's known me since I was, I think about 13 years old.
Yeah, 12 or 13.
Which is good, because it's I found it a bit easy for her to spot behavioural patterns and things like that, because she knew me so well. So with that, what we got down to the fact was that, for 60 days it was sort of easy, because I was in my safe place in home. I had family, friends, everything around me that I felt safe, but which is weird, because I feel like the world loves
triggers. You knew everything. You knew when you were going to get triggered. You could plan for it. You could do everything in the world, and you knew exactly what was going to happen. And the universe
still threw at me. It still threw at me this scenario where it sent me away by myself, and I'd never travelled alone in my life. And I'm going to be honest, in everything that I do, I feel like I can be confidently good enough at getting around things, but I will never travel alone again. I found that pushed me to a mental point of that I've never been before. And to you guys, it might sound like, why are you what's so bad about traveling alone? Probably staying somewhere nice, doing something. I can't even describe to you how it felt to me. It was something that I just hated, and it really broke me down. And as you saw, it made me do things that I didn't want to do. And but what we discovered was a pretty good part. Not the only positive, but a positive that came out of it was that I completely owned it straight away. I had a drink, and I called my parents and Chloe, and I let them know what happened, and that I didn't feel comfortable, and that I made a mistake, and that it was in that best time for me to get home and remove myself from that situation. So I ended up flying home early because of that, and there was also something else which I'm not going to go into detail about, but I've removed myself from the situation and straight away got back on track. I haven't had a drink since, which has not been that long, but I'm just saying, I didn't hit it and then spiral downhill.
And that's the thing that I was most worried when you reached out to me, was that most people, when they go backwards, and it feels like you really do go backwards so badly as well. And because for Mitch, you're doing it on a platform where there's so many people watching it as well, so the guilt surrounding it is huge. And the second that you buy into the guilt and you beat yourself up for it and you make it worse, that's when you're going to continue to spiral. And that's what most people find. And I find that with anybody with any kind of an addiction. So it might be an addiction to food. The second that you go back to it, you know, if you don't rewire the way you're looking at it pretty fast and like pretty quick smart, you'll go into it straight away and you'll keep going back to that thing because it's your coping mechanism.
Of course.
Yeah, and your triggers, you know, you were so used to all of the triggers that you'd previously dealt with. So everything, you knew when you're in Melbourne exactly how to work your way around them. And then in America, you didn't even know that it was going to be a trigger point. Therefore, you couldn't plan for it. If you knew, you would have planned for it.
For sure. It's true.
But you weren't sure.
And that was like, what another good thing that Laura told me was like, because I was so, I think that not even the fact that I did it, it was the fact that I felt like I let down so many people. Because what you guys probably don't know is I have had an influx of messages from people who are going through things like me, and like I'll give you one example. I'm not going to name his name because it's not fair to him, but so one of my followers messages me all the time, and I sort of get along with him really well. We have a bit of a laugh and stuff, but he messaged me not long ago about a gambling problem that he's told no one, none of his family, none of his friends, and that, you know, he just wanted some advice. So I've got him to I think he's 3 weeks without a bet so far, and he checks in with me regularly and everything like that. And believe it or not, I don't even have an intimate relationship with him. We don't catch up or anything like that.
That's what you're doing.
He was nearly the first person that I thought about when I did it as to who I let down.
Yeah.
So, but as you said, like, I think it's important to know that you don't have to be perfect and that things, you're going to go backwards.
You're going to struggle with it. I have a lot of clients that deal with kind of like problems around eating disorders and the way that they look at food in particular, right? And the second that they go backwards, if they keep feeding into it, they will, and they feel really guilty and they get down about it, they keep going back to it. There's no reason to feel any guilt. You went backwards, you didn't know about the triggers, you know how to plan for it for next time.
Yeah.
So there's no reason for you to beat yourself up about it. Plus, the amount of people here who would have had some sort of an addiction or some sort of behavioural problem that they don't like, that have accidentally, when they've been in a bad headspace or where something's happened, where they've gone back to those behaviours, is crazy. And everyone feels so guilty for it and they beat themselves up over it. So I think what's really important is for the audience to know as well, the fact that it's not, it's going to happen. Eventually, you're going to go backwards and it's okay when you do, but get yourself back on track and get the right help that you need to be able to do it.
And just try to be better next time. I mean, you can always draw some positives out of any situation, I believe. And I mean, all I could think of was the negatives, but all it took was for me to speak to people and stuff like that. That's why it was really important for me to come forward and own up to what I did, because in all honesty, I didn't get caught for what I did. It was that I did it. No one could have known. I was in America by myself. I could have told no one, you know what I mean? But I decided that for me, I couldn't live with that, and it was part of me, owning it was going to help me, I think, in the future. And the fact that I did do that, I feel like has made me, get through this a lot more. And it's
also feeling safe as well.
Safe, 100%, because I can still look back at it and see the positives from it. Whereas it's like, if I had came home now, not told anyone, and just lived with that in my conscience, it's like you're only cheating yourself.
Absolutely. I think there's a lot of power standing up and explaining exactly what you've gone through, and that's really fantastic because it's going to help so many other people. But plus, it helps you as well gain even more connection in your life that you felt like you'd lost.
Of course. Yeah.
So it's really, really, really great. Really great.
So yeah, I think as there's, steps backwards, you can always take steps forward, which is like also another reason that I love talking to Laura about things, because sometimes it's really hard for you to see that perspective. I mean, like when you've got a goal or something, it's very tunnel visioned and narrow minded. So if you do anything to step away from what you've been contributing to, I feel like you immediately beat yourself up and you feel like all your work's been undone and that's it. What's the point anymore?
Yeah. But it's not like that. You're on a journey. You're going through a journey of healing. Healing parts of yourself that had been built up behaviours and patterns of behaviours since we were 15. So the same patterns of behaviours for many, many, many years. It's not going to go away overnight. It's just about making sure that you manoeuvre things as much as possible so that you feel comfortable and safe around it as well. Because a lot of and I hope you're okay with me mentioning that you were experiencing a lot of anxiety when you're over there as well, and you were like, oh my gosh, I feel so horrible.
Which is something I've never had before. Mind you, I'm not one of those people that say I'm not saying I'm anxious all the time. I've actually never had anxiety before. until this trip.
And it feels like you're dying. Like genuinely, you feel like, okay, my chest is like something's going to explode, and I feel like I'm dying.
It gave me a very, very big understanding of people that do deal with anxiety, which is, Chloe has her days where she has it, and to me, it was really hard to just fathom what she was going through, because I'm like, what are you anxious about? There's nothing to be anxious about. But I went through it, and it was freaking shit.
Yeah, and it's that feeling of being really unsafe as well. So for you, you were in a different country, you were by yourself, you didn't have that connection. And like for us as humans, we need to feel like we're a part of a tribe. So if we lose that connection, and because thousands of years ago, or even hundreds of years ago, if you weren't a part of the tribe and you were left on your own, chances are you wouldn't make the night.
Yeah.
So it's within us, it's our instincts to be like, I have to be a part of something, I need to be connected to somebody or something, and I'll find it any way I can, which causes us to use different substances all the time.
Yeah.
But the anxiety around it is like, what's going to happen, and your mind wants to keep you safe, so it's going to go to the absolute worst case scenarios, because it's like, let's keep you safe by showing you this can happen, maybe this person's not going to love you anymore, this person's going to be really mad at you, blah 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 blah, maybe I'll get hate, and you go to all of the worst case scenarios, when you really just have to remind yourself in those times when you're feeling the anxiety, why you are safe and why your life isn't being threatened, because your body's just trying to keep you safe by rushing all of those hormones through to give you the tightness in your chest, to give you sweaty palms, etc, etc.
So true. It's like I'm still like reflecting on it now, as you can see, but I think it's very timely. Well, to be honest, I wasn't really going to do a video about it, and I thought, what better way to sort of own it than to just come forward and talk, because I'm not going to sit back here and pretend that I'm perfect and I've done all the right things and got to where I am, and this is why I did it. I feel like you guys are going to probably be able to reside with me more after knowing that everyone does make mistakes, and it's a journey.
Yeah, you're not perfect, and holding on to the idea that you're going to be perfect will only put you so far backwards.
Yeah.
Because no one can be. You physically cannot be perfect. I'm not perfect. You're not perfect. No one's going to be perfect. You're just doing the best you can with the tools that you have.
Exactly. On that note as well, just timely that today's Are You Okay Day, and we did not plan this or anything like that, so we feel like that's just another thing aligning. But on that note, I feel like with all these sort of things going on, these can be massive triggers for friends and family and people around you. So if you do have mates around you who, you might look at them and say, geez, I feel like their headspace isn't right. I don't know about everyone, I can spot when something's wrong. Like if I might see that, they're drinking too much, they're gambling too much, they're doing things, they're avoiding this. I feel like we sort of just let it happen rather than actually asking them, like, what is your reasoning behind this, and are you okay? Do you need a chat and everything like that? So my point about this video is, one, it's okay to talk, and it might not be, your partner, your family, anything like that. Like mine's Laura, who's, she's a coach and she knows her stuff, and I feel comfortable confiding in her a bit more than others, just because I like a professional approach, whereas yours might be a friend, family member, who knows. But I feel like it's super important now to talk to people about things, because just breaking it down bit by bit can help in so many different ways.
Absolutely. I like to give the whole idea that most of the time you can feel like you're standing really, really close to a picture. Like your face is right up against it, right? And the second that you take a couple of steps back, and somebody who is in your life, like a friend, a family member, coach, counselor, psychologist, they can help you take a couple of steps back so you can see the bigger picture, so you're not so overwhelmed when you're looking at it through, a specific lens. You get the bird's eye view. I think that's really powerful and really important. But, in saying that, I know a lot of people get really nervous to ask certain friends, look, are you okay? Because that friend is really disconnected. I'm telling you right now, from working with a lot of people who do feel a lot of disconnection, because that causes many, many problems, I've found. When you ask the question, even if they don't give you a response, it means that eventually they will be able to talk to you if they feel comfortable. It's not going to be the first time that you ask that they might be open and willing to talk about it. It might be the second, third, fourth time before they actually open up. But the fact of the matter is that you're showing that you care. Exactly. And you're putting energy and effort into showing somebody that you love them and you're there for them. And even if they don't take you up on it, it doesn't matter. It doesn't say anything bad about you. It's just important to allow people to know that they do have connection, because everybody's so lonely. so lonely.
Yeah, in some way.
Yeah, so just asking the question will make them feel really, really great as well, and hopefully it can open up a conversation so that if they need to go get help, they can get it, or they can have those conversations with family members and friends that they've been needing to for a while.
Absolutely. Well, yeah, I think that we've just summed it up pretty well. So I'll leave Laura's details in the description as well. So even you might be local. I live in Melbourne, and you might want to go see Laura because, as I can say, she's bloody good. But it doesn't have to be Laura. Obviously, anyone who you feel confident and comfortable in confiding with will help you. So yeah, thanks heaps for watching, and thanks for joining me, Laura. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me here.